Hey guys, I'm glad you came by today. We're going to be talking about the touch light that's in so many brands of RVs. This light has a nice stainless steel base, nice LED array, 2 wires, a positive and negative, a frosted lens that screws on. Doesn't snap on, but it screws on. So you know what light I'm talking about. It's the touch light. You touch the side of it, it comes on, just like this. Comes on, goes off. Now these lights here on this display board, the top two, are the same as this. They came out of an RV that was having problems. And that's what prompted this video, is because looking this up online, everybody seems to have a lot of problems with these lights. And I didn't notice any real solutions other than there's problems. Where do you find the lights? Can you get them anymore? Apparently there's I'm not going to say a recall on them, but when your RV was new and you had problems with it, they were just sending out new lights to take care of it. But your RV might not be new, it might not have a warranty on it anymore, so it becomes an issue. So what are the problems this light was having? Well, the lights would just come on by themselves. So you might have one light like this in your RV, you might have 7, you might have 10, 5, it just depends on the RV, where they put them. Now, this particular RV that these came out of, there were 7 in it, so the lights would just go on by themselves. So the customer, RV would be parked in a shop, let's say. The battery is turned to the on position. He's always in and out of the RV doing stuff, so he just leaves his battery on. Well, these lights were coming on so often, so frequently, and for so long, they were draining the battery. So it was causing a problem for it, and he couldn't figure it out because he never saw the lights on. Occasionally, he would see a light on. He just thought he left it on. He'd go and turn it off and not give it much thought. But the lights were coming on by themselves. So the lights had to be replaced. They're defective. Now, these lights aren't readily available. You're not going to just get them anywhere, at least not that I've found. Now, you might have a source. You might know some place where you've gotten them, replaced them. It's a nice light. And I'm sure they're not cheap either, because it is a nice stainless steel base. It has a nice look to it. But if they're not working right, you need to replace them. Now, what I recommend going with is just a real simple LED light. You touch the center of it, turn it on and off. I mean, there's no difference if you're touching the ceiling on the side of the light or touching the center of the light to turn the light on and off. You're still reaching for the ceiling. It might seem easier to touch the side. I don't know. I don't think it is. I think it's just the same. I'd rather have a mechanical light that I know is going to work for me. Now, the light here is very simple. It's very similar to the other light. This one's actually a little bit bigger in diameter, which is okay. It takes 4 screws to hold it on the side or to attach it. So it attaches to the ceiling, the bottom of a cabinet, wherever it goes. And not to mention, these are just a nice upgrade if you want to replace some lights. It's got the switch in the center. You just press that switch, turns it on and off. 2 wires, positive and negative. Can't beat that. The lens just snaps right on and you're done. You got a nice LED light installation. And like I said, you just press the center of it on, off. Now, if you have the touch ring lights, they're pretty self-explanatory how they attach to the ceiling. They have 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. You got your LED light there. So to get the lens on and off, sometimes can be a little tricky depending on how it was put on, how tight it is, how slippery your fingers are, if they're getting good traction or not. So I just use a piece of, that one just came right off. Real simple there, right? Well, that wasn't planned. So even screwing it on can be kind of difficult, but you put the tape on there and you can just use that as a way to spin it. Anything that makes traction on it. In other words, you can get something that's in the palm of your hand that doesn't slip and spin on the lens and just turn it and the lens will spin off. The thread is kind of fine, so putting them back on is difficult. So you got to take your time and make sure you don't cross thread it. But you get it on there, and these lenses will stick sometimes. It's stainless steel, so they make that sticking noise. You can feel it. And that's where the tape helps as well, or something similar to that, where you just get some traction, spin that lens off. This one wasn't put on all the way, so it just came right off. but putting it back on, I just put it on a, turn or so, then showed you how it works. So that's the idea of it. This is done live. Sometimes we have problems. That's the way it goes, right? So if you have these touch ring lights, it's probably time to replace them. Even if you think they're working right, they might not be. You might not have battery issues, but just get ahead of the problem. That's my recommendation. Go with something like this. These are made by Command. It's a nice light. They seem to hold up pretty well. But like any LED light, they'll fail sooner or later. New technology hasn't proven to be that great. But heck, they do work good. And you can see this light puts off some nice light there. Wonderful light, easy installation. So that's my touch ring tip of the day. You like that touch ring tip? All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Okay. All right, here we are. Okay. All right, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Shake it out, shake it out. How are you doing today? This is Eric with the Smart. Now, I'll start over. How are you doing today? I'm glad you guys are here. Now, I am so glad you made it to this video. All right, so here we go. Video, record that, record this. Look at that. Woohoo, look at that. Look at that. We got a light. All right, so here we go. I am so glad you made it today. We are going to do this awesome video about these touch lights, touch LED lights that are in so many Keystone products like Cougars and many other brands. They're very popular, but they do have some limitations. So I want to kind of go through this with you today, explain the good, the bad, and the ugly of them. So this is Eric Stark with the Smart Rver podcast. I'm glad you made it. So we're going to talk about this in our Fast Tip Friday. No, let's start over again. I am so glad you made it today. No. All right. Hey everybody, I am so glad you made it today. You are here watching this video about the touch light that is in so many products like Keystone, Cougars, many other brands of RVs. Light, you just simply touch it, comes on, comes off. Oh, that doesn't work too well, does it? You've got to be kidding me. All right, let's go. All right, here we are. Hey everybody, it's Eric Stark with the Smart Rver podcast presenting another Fast Tip Friday, and today we're going to dig into these touch lights. That's the lens, that's the light. 2 wires on the back, pretty simple little configuration, simple light to use. These are in a lot of Keystone products like the Cougar, different brands of RVs where you just touch the outside of the light and it comes on, you touch it again, the light goes off. Now let me demonstrate this. Now these lights that I have up here came out of an RV. They're not the best working lights, but they do work at some level. Touch it, on, off, on, off. Okay, makes sense. All right, let's start over again. Whoo! Hey everybody, it's Eric Stark with the Smart Rver podcast. Nope. Hey everybody, it's Eric Stark. I am so glad you guys came by to watch this video today. We're going to talk about these touch lights that are in so many RVs today. Keystone Products is one brand, the Cougar line of Keystone, and there are many other brands. And you just touch the ring, the light comes on, touch it again, the light goes off. Got a lens that unscrews, 2 wires on the back, the stainless steel base, nice looking light, pretty fancy, but are they any good? Well, they are for a while. So it's a pretty simple configuration. You touch the ring of it, comes on. Touch the ring again, and it goes off. These lights aren't working that great. These came out of an RV, and that's why, because they're not working that great. And actually, they had a draw. So these lights do have their inherent problems, and that's really what this video is about. All right, here we go. One more time. Hey guys, it's Eric Stark here with the Smart Rver podcast doing another Fast Tip Friday. And today we're going to focus in on the touch light that is in so many different brands of RVs. It's somewhat popular. It's a good light for a while, but they do have their problems that are built in, and sometimes you don't realize it until you have dead batteries. Lights are coming on at night, so that's what we're going to dig into. It's a nice looking light. You got a nice stainless steel base. You got a plastic lens, frosted lens. 2 wires on the back. It's got a nice LED array here. They're a nice light when they work, but when they don't work, they're not so great. And one of the problems with them is, well, they can kill the battery and you're not even realizing it's happening. So let's look at this. You tap the side, comes on. Tap it again, goes off. Tap, on, off. Pretty simple light, right? And it's cool. You can just come up and touch it. But the problem is these lights have a tendency of coming on by themselves. And when that happens and you're not there, and let's say your RV it's not on shore power, you don't have your battery switched to off, well, it's going to drain the batteries. Now they're LED lights, but if you have 6 or 7 of these in your RV, that could become a problem. See, like this. That's a problem. So the lights, the idea of it is great, but if you have these touch lights in your RV, you probably should replace them, just get ahead of the curve. Now, some people might think you're crazy. Eric, that's nuts. You know, a replacement light's going to be $25 each for a decent light, not from the Jungle website, but from a real store that's selling real quality products. You maybe don't want to spend that, but you know what? These lights do have their issues, but some pace, so... All right, let's start over again. Cut. All right, we're back for one more Fast Tip Friday. This is Eric Stark with the Smart Rver podcast, and we're going to be talking about the touch lights that are in RVs. Hey guys, I'm glad that you're back. We got another video here. We're going to talk about the touch lights that are in so many different brands of RVs. Now these lights on the surface seem to be great. They work really well. They come from the factory in so many RVs. It's a nice looking light. This is a stainless steel base. You got a nice LED array right here. 2 wires on the back to hook it up. Very simple. The lens itself is frosted. It screws on. Pretty basic light, but it's a nice looking light. And the idea of it is very practical, the touch light. You know, you just touch the ring of it and it comes on. Touch the ring again and it goes off. Touch it, it comes on. Touch it, it goes off. Now these lights here, all these lights came out of an RV. They all have problems. They don't turn off when they're supposed to. They turn on when they're not supposed to. So the customer has his RV and he has the battery switch in the on position, but it's not plugged into shore power, so the battery's not getting charged. It's in his shop where it's not getting sunlight for the solar panel to charge the batteries. So these lights are coming on periodically throughout the day, at night. They go on for a few hours, they might turn off. It was draining his battery. So he had 7 of these lights that were killing his battery. They all had to come out. But some basic things about this light. So it's a, that didn't plan for that. So it's a basic light. Got a nice base, you got the cap that screws on. Now what's interesting about the cap is they're sometimes kind of hard to get on and off. The plastic kind of sticks to the stainless steel base. So you just get a piece of duct tape, which I have here. It's just off a roll. This just happens to be red. It doesn't matter what color you use. You just put it on there and you can turn that lens right off. Makes it real easy. Or anything sticky that's just going to give your finger some traction on the lens. Sometimes the lens stick a little bit. If someone before you put it on a little crooked, then the thread's not right. It's going to be really hard to get off. So that's where that tape really helps. Sometimes you put the tape on, twist it both ways. So it's just a pretty basic light. It just screws right to the ceiling. No issues. So what I'm going to recommend, and this is a recommendation based on experience of these lights failing. And quite often you don't know when they're failing because they come on, like I said, when they're not supposed to. They might stay on for hours, draining the battery. Or sometimes they just stop working at all. This LED array in here can fail. This thing can fail. It's not really a replaceable LED array unless you could find one that works with this type of light. But it's probably not worth the time or the energy to do that. So I'm going to recommend just switching to a new LED light. So it's basically the same style of light, it just doesn't have the touch ring. It has a button right in the center. On, off. Pretty easy. That's not really that hard. And either way, if you're touching the light on the side to get it to go on and off, you're walking up to the light. You're actually physically touching the light. So when you touch the side, when it's working great, they work good. But when they're not working good, well, they suck. That's the bottom line. But if you're touching a light, what's the difference if you touch a switch in the center or a ring on the side? And now I get it. They come in the RVs, they look nice, and if you replace one, you might as well do them all. Maybe you don't want to budget it for doing all of them, do half of them, do a couple of them, but get them replaced because you will have problems with them. And these lights aren't perfect. They will fail as well because LED lights just aren't that great. The bulbs, the light is, they don't draw a lot of power, but the electronics that surround the little LED diode, that's where they fail. So all these lights have their weak link, but these are less expensive than these. These are much harder to find, much harder to work with. If this fails, you throw it away, buy a new one. And these are easier to get. So the lens just snaps on. After you install it, you got 4 screw holes around the face of it here. And yeah, they're not going to match up to this. These have 4 screw holes more in the center, but that's okay. You're replacing the light. It covers the holes in the ceiling. It's all that matters. Covering up that old footprint is what matters. So the light or the lens just snaps on when you're all done. And that's it. Now this particular one doesn't have a switch, but it's the same thing, same basic principle. This one has the switch in the center, press it on, press it off. Works really good. So if you have these touch ring lights, the nice stainless steel base, if you're experiencing any problems with them, just get rid of them. Go to the light like this. And these lights are made by command. It's a nice light. Most RV stores are going to carry them. Not a hard product to find on the shelves in an RV store. But if you don't have problems with these, you might not know it, that you really are. Look at your RV. If you don't turn that battery switch off, these lights might be draining those batteries. So stay on top of it. Nah, you know what? I don't like that. All right, let's do this one more time. All right, this is it. Hey guys, I'm glad you stopped by today. We're going to talk about the touch ring LED light. These are in very many RVs today. Keystone is one brand that put them in a lot of their models, they're great. These lights are really cool when they work, when they're brand new and they work well. They're actually pretty cool. They look nice. They have a nice upgrade look to it. You got a nice stainless steel bottom, a nice LED array here. You got a nice frosted lens that screws on. It doesn't snap on, but screws on, so I'm not going to put it on. A little bit of a hassle, especially with my big clunky fingers. So it's a pretty common light out there, but it also has problems. You know, like anything, not in an RV, but anything in general, sometimes they fail. Sometimes they fail a little bit sooner. But these lights do have a couple different things that make them not so great. But before I get into that, just some basics here. It's the touch light. You touch it with your finger right on the side, goes on, goes off. Just like so. Now, the lights on this display have come out of an RV. Damn it. Okay, so start over again, man. All right, so we're at like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, okay. So here we go.